The queens enter the workroom in pairs. Yuri and Esdeath enter first, commenting that the generals are reporting for duty.
It's a new day in the workroom and I wasn't kidding when I said I would change my name. Do you like it?
Yurio and Tatsumi enter next, saying that their new motto is bros before hoes.
Bros before hoes. How old are they? 12?
L says that intelligence and beauty have entered the workroom, and Mewtwo says that L has also entered the workroom.
That was funny. Mewtwo got me with that one.
See? I am a comedy queen after all.
Olivier and Junta enter the workroom and say that the safe millers have entered the workroom and that this week they will be sleigh millers.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Kay walks into the workroom and asks where his blushing bride is. Aomin turns the corner and says who me? Kay replies that Aomin has never looked more beautiful and pretends to wipe away a tear. Aomin joins Kay and asks if he can kiss the bride. Kay says he now declares them husband and husband.
That was quite the entrance by Aomin and Kay. They seem to be in a great mood. Me, I feel exhausted. Do you want to ask me why I'm exhausted?
Production would like to know why you're exhausted.
Because Aomin's hotel room is next to mine, and let's just say, Kay wasn't in his room last night. It's not easy to sleep when it sounds like two horny guys going at it on prom night.
Oh God. Olivier said she could hear us? That's embarrassing. For what it's worth, we mostly just talked last night.
Right.
Olivier said that. That's hilarious. I'll apologize to her later. Contrary to what you might think, when we got back to my room, Kay and I spent hours chatting. I told Kay I was coming to terms with my sexuality and I now understood why I never had girlfriends in high school and why I hung around with a generation of miracles in my free time. Kay told me that he's had a hard time making friends and so he felt upset when I became distant last week. He said he sometimes gets in his head and did his best to keep focused. I apologized profusely and said it really was my fault. Kay said it's water under the bridge and that he understood how confusing it was navigating one's sexuality as they're coming to terms with it. After spending the night with him talking it through, I realized I don't have a problem being with someone of the same sex. That admission led to a long silence, which led to, as Olivier said, us acting like two horny young adults on prom night.
I think we can leave that there. Good for them, though. I'm happy that they're happy. Love is love, and if anyone treats them differently for being together, send them my way and I'll kick their ass.
The queens gather round the workroom table and continue to chat. There is an uncomfortable vibe between Tatsumi, Esdeath and Junta. Yuri breaks the silence and congratulates Esdeath for winning last week's challenge. Tatsumi follows suit and Junta rolls his eyes. Esdeath calmly thanks the queens and says she's pleased to have won the musical. She congratulates Tatsumi, Aomin and Yuri for being in the top and L for surviving the lip sync. L said he's so relieved the dance challenge is over. Tatsumi chimes in and says he's hoping for the girl group challenge this week and L tells him not to manifest that.
We absolutely do not need a girl group challenge this week. Please. I'll literally beg if I have to.
Konnichiwa queens. Your talent shows, sickening. Your ads, iconic. The U-sickle, a brilliancy. Now it's time to show us your design skills.
What a relief.
Excellent. I've always had an eye for fashion. The judges have loved my point of view when I strut the runway. I'm excited for this.
See the duct tape on the main table in the workroom? For today's mini challenge, you have 15 minutes to design a look made entirely of duct tape, your undergarments, and your resourcefulness. Give it your all as the winner will receive an advantage for the Maxi Challenge. Your time started 1 minute ago. The queens scramble around the workroom, using duct tape to build a look. Chaos ensues as queens furiously rip tape to add to their undergarments. Yuri panics, using his entire roll to cover his body but running out of tape to cover his legs. The queens then gather in front of Yugi to present their looks. Mewtwo stomps down the runway like it's Fashion Week in a duct tape dress with a cinched waist, creating an hourglass silhouette. L drapes the duct tape off his body, giving him the illusion of being a drag mummy. His movements are jerky, which adds to the drag mummy illusion. Yurio wraps the duct tape around himself in perfect symmetry, making him look like a poised ballet dancer. Yuri hobbles down the runway, with tape falling off his body. He almost trips on some tape which sticks to his shoe. Wow, queens, absolutely fierce. Though one of you really served and I was haunted to my Egyptian roots. L, your mummy look was terrifying and you've won today's mini challenge.
Swell! That's the momentum I needed to get back after last week.
L, with this victory comes an important advantage for today's mini challenge. Queens, today you'll need to create a sickening look for the Millennium Masquerade Design Challenge. Several other queens, including Pegasus from Cartoon Drag Race Toon World, have lent me their Millennium items. L is going to pair you up for this challenge and your task is simple. Using the fabrics, wigs, undergarments, padding and sequins, provided by Haneke Couture, you'll need to create a sickening look that incorporates your Millennium item. Then, you and your partner need to strut the runway and the judges will decide who wore it better.
The Millennium Masquerade. An absolutely goddamn sickening category. Mewtwo's reign begins now.
The Millennium items that you can use for this challenge are the Millennium Scales, Necklace, Eye, Rod and Ring. Ash has decided to take the Millennium Key for himself. So, L, who will you pair together?
I know this may disappoint the viewers, but I intend to play fair. Well, mostly fair. I do have a queen in my crosshairs. Gosh, Yugi, thank you for this advantage. My first pairing is Armin and Olivier, and I will give them the Millennium Scales.
Okay, L, I respect it. Olivier and I are both very competitive, so this should be a fierce collection.
Excellent, I do enjoy a challenge. When I think scales, I think justice, and that aligns nicely with my brand.
An interesting pairing. L, who is next?
Next, I would like to pair Mewtwo and Yuri. I would like to give them the Millennium Ring.
Excellent. My gaze was fixed on the Millennium Ring as it's absolutely sickening. I think L noticed and did me a solid. I will remember this.
Not good. Mewtwo has performed well on every runway. I'm already feeling stressed.
A fair call. L, who else will you pair together?
Yugi, can I please pair Tatsumi and Esdeath with the Millennium Eye? Okay, hear me out. This is the only strategic pairing I've done. No one really likes Tatsumi, and Esdeath is a powerhouse, so hopefully she puts him in the bottom and he goes home. But on the off chance he excels in this challenge, this could be a chance to destabilize Esdeath's game. I'm hoping for a win-win situation.
That's a curious pairing. I'm not close with L, so I'm not surprised he paired me with Tatsumi. But if he thinks it will throw me off, he has another thing coming.
I'll slay no matter who I'm against. This challenge is mine to win.
You realize you've said that about every challenge this season.
Exactly. You need to go into each challenge with a mindset of utter delusion. If you think for a moment you won't win, then you've already lost.
That's an interesting mindset.
What can I say? That's the Tatsumi way. Wow, that rhymes. Another iconic saying I've created.
Should be an interesting collection, L. That leaves Yurio, Junta, yourself and Kay.
Indeed, thanks Yugi. I think I'll pair Yurio with Kay and give them the Millennium Necklace.
Good. Kay is not a challenge on the runway. I will crush him.
I'm okay with this. I'm just grateful L didn't put me against Almin. I'm hoping both Almin and I do well this week. I really want to make it to the end with Almin.
That leaves Junta and L with the Millennium Rod.
I see. He thinks I am the weak link. This week, I'm going to direct all my frustration into making the best damn runway of the season. At least he left us with the rod, which is absolutely sickening.
Full transparency, I did choose someone I'm confident I'll beat. Junta is starting to crack, and while he's been okay on the runway, I think his mind is elsewhere. I'm not trying to set anyone up for failure, though I do need to give myself the best chance of success. That said, hopefully Junta serves a good look, as I quite like him.
Well, queens, you have your assignment. L, thank you for not setting up every group to fail, unlike a certain queen in the advert challenge.
Oh come now, the viewers were living for my shady pairs. I regret nothing.
Queens, get started on your designs and I'll see you on the runway. Remember, the Millennium items are opulent, so we're looking for beauty, elegance and grace on that runway. Good luck and please, don't fuck it up. The queens get to work designing their outfits. Mewtwo and Olivier end up on a workstation with Esdeath and Yuri. Olivier comments that Esdeath and Yuri seem close after Untucked last week. Esdeath comments that she's taking Yuri on as a drag son. Esdeath explains that she wrote Yuri off as a baby queen week 1, though has been impressed with his resolve these last 2 weeks. Yuri says he respects Esdeath's honesty and, even though he knows she won't be easy on him, he values Esdeath's counsel. He says that he's also changing his name in drag to General Katsuki or Katsuki for short, at least for the remainder of the competition. I, the narrator, have also taken note of this and will be calling him Katsuki going forward. And yes, as the narrator, I am entitled to occasionally move into first-person narration. Since I'm off script, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Trust, this will be an ongoing series with drama-filled, regularly scheduled episodes. Now, back to it, I suppose.
I think I ought to justify why I'm changing my name in drag. I'm aware I give off a nervous energy and that I overthink things for sure. But I know I'm fierce, and that's why I like the name General Katsuki. It makes me feel fierce in spite of my nervous disposition.
If the crybaby is changing his drag name, does that mean I can go back to being Yuri?
It's probably easier for the viewers if you stay as Yuri.
Fine.
Esdeath takes a step back from her dress, admiring her work. She looks over at Olivier and Mewtwo and says she wants to know what happened between Olivier and Mewtwo at the 6th annual Miss Anime contest. The chatter in the workroom stops and Olivier tenses. She looks at Mewtwo, who shrugs their shoulders at her and says if she wants to tell the group what happened, they're okay with it.
Where's Daijin when you need him? He would be living for this moment.
I could cut the tension in this workroom with a blade, specifically my sword Incursio, because I'm an excellent swordsman.
You realize this isn't your moment.
Agree to disagree.
Olivier begins by saying that she and Mewtwo were on friendly terms before the contest. On the day of the Miss Anime contest, Mewtwo arrived about 30 minutes late to the pageant portion of the day. When they burst into the workroom, they appeared overwhelmed. The other queens went to check on Mewtwo. Mewtwo had been flying to the Miss Anime contest when they saw a building on fire. They realized the firefighters were not going to make it to the people on the top floors, so they used their power of flight to rescue people. Olivier goes on to say that Mewtwo not only explained what had happened to the group but was so enraptured in telling the story they lost track of time. As a result, they didn't have much time left to put on their makeup and get into their drag. Mewtwo asked the producers if they could have an extra 20 minutes to finish their makeup due to extenuating circumstances. The producers said if all queens unanimously agreed, they would allow this. All queens agreed except for Olivier.
Look, I'm not heartless. I really wasn't trying to screw over Mewtwo. They saved lives and that was admirable, but when they arrived, they made a choice to recount the story and bask in their glory, failing to make use of the remaining time. So I didn't think it was fair to the rest of the queens who had used their time wisely.
You have to understand, I was all over the place. I had just rescued 10 people battling through smoke and fire. Yes, I didn't immediately get to work when I arrived because I was still in a state of shock. I debriefed with the other queens, then got to work. I just didn't have enough time to get everything done, so I asked the producers for more time. The other queens understood, though it felt like Olivier was punishing me.
I get what Mewtwo is saying. I can understand their point of view, though the rules can't just be bent because it's convenient. We had a fair contest to run. If Mewtwo had asked for the extra time when they arrived, I would have said yes. Though to carry on, then ask for more time, it didn't sit right with me.
Esdeath and Katsuki look awkwardly at each other as the conversation lulls. Esdeath is the first to speak, saying that explains it. There's another awkward silence at the table. Mewtwo says what's done is done and they've given up waiting for an apology from Olivier. Olivier says she isn't going to apologize. Mewtwo scoffs and says, clearly. Olivier says she does acknowledge how hurt Mewtwo was by her actions at the Miss Anime contest.
I wasn't sure what to say to that. It's clear she won't apologize, though I appreciate her acknowledging how I felt.
Mewtwo is taken aback. After a moment of consideration, Mewtwo says they appreciate her saying that.
I have to say, I didn't expect that from Mewtwo. I thought me acknowledging their hurt might anger them.
That was a nice moment. I don't think they're going to be best friends, though it seemed Olivier acknowledging Mewtwo's feelings was what Mewtwo needed to hear. I think we all felt a change in energy, which is good, because the tension was stressing me out.
Esdeath says now that's resolved they can all sing Kumbaya together, which causes Mewtwo, Olivier and Katsuki to laugh.
I have to say, I'm disappointed. I thought production could easily milk the drama between Olivier and Mewtwo for another 3 to 4 episodes.
Aijin, how the hell did you get in here?
Who, me? I told you, when one door closes, another opens. It's on you if you thought I was being metaphorical.
But you've been eliminated. You can't be in the confessional booth.
Who says? Anyway, being stuck at the hotel room with that Pollyanna Koopa was quickly driving me insane.
So what are you doing back on set?
Steering the drama, of course. Meow.
Daijin.
Oh, bother.
It's time to go back to your hotel room, lest I send you to the Shadow Realm.
Oh, fine. Though you better invite me back as a guest judge for this week.
After you sabotaged our queens?
As I told you, guilty until proven innocent. Or is it the other way around? Guess you'll never know, meow.
Aomin and Kei join Olivier, Katsuki, Esdeath, and Mewtwo. Aomin apologizes to Olivier about last night. Olivier cracks a smile and says not to worry, just to keep it down tonight. Kei blushes. Aomin says Olivier's dress looks sickening and he's looking forward to going up against her today. Olivier said she is happy with it. She looks at Aomin's dress and says it looks nice, though she wonders if it is complete. Aomin says he's happy with it, though does confess he got a bit distracted talking with Kei during the challenge. Katsuki says Aomin and Kei seem to be getting along well and asks what's going on between them. Olivier smiles to herself. Aomin cracks a grin and tells them they've made it official and they're boyfriends. Katsuki says he's happy for them.
It's really nice that Kei and Aomin have found each other. Honestly, it's been nice to be surrounded by so much diversity in the workroom. Junta mentioned he has a husband. I have Victor. Aomin and Kei are together. Mewtwo told us in Untucked last week they are non-binary. Olivier and Esdeath are two strong, independent women. Then we have Tatsumi. I'll just leave that there.
Kei rests his head on Aomin's shoulder. Tatsumi walks by and says it's great Aomin and Kei are together as at least that gives them a storyline for the viewers, otherwise they would have been early outs as they lack personality. He looks at Aomin and Kei's dress and asks if category is Millennium Trash.
Okay. Even by my standards, that was cold.
Esdeath moves to say something but Katsuki launches off his seat, moving around the table. As he moves past Olivier he accidentally knocks into her dress. Katsuki walks over to Tatsumi and tells him to shut the fuck up. He says Tatsumi is a selfish, egotistical, arrogant brat with no taste in fashion, no actual talent and an ego larger than the ever-expanding universe. He says that Tatsumi's time is coming in this competition and no one is going to be sad to see him go, that he is a disgrace to the drag art form and that for once in his life could he just shut the hell up instead of ruining a genuinely nice moment in the workroom.
Holy shit. I heard that from the other side of the workroom. Thank you for saying what we were all thinking. Work, General Katsuki. Work.
Tatsumi stares at Katsuki in stunned silence. The workroom goes quiet. Yurio comes over from his workstation and says that the crybaby is just pressed because he's flopping the challenge and tells Tatsumi to come to his workstation.
I don't know why Yuri went off at me like that. I imagine he's pressed by this challenge. I saw his garment and it was, in the words of Mother RuPaul herself, meh.
I believe he's going by General Katsuki now.
Makes sense he would attach himself to someone talented and successful like Esdeath.
Wow, you really don't hold back, do you?
No, I keep it real. Wait, am I that guy that everyone thinks is a dick? I'll take that silence as a yes. Well, let them think what they want. I'm 100% authentically myself and people will either love it or hate it. I think I'm sickening, and at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Production tells the queens they have 5 more minutes. After the commotion has settled, Katsuki returns to his work table. Esdeath says he continues to surprise her and, even though she has a crush on Tatsumi, a smackdown like that was long overdue. Olivier says she is surprised Esdeath has a crush on Tatsumi and says that Esdeath deserves better. Esdeath is momentarily caught off guard.
It's true. Tatsumi has an ego. Though, have you met me? If anyone can tame the beast, it's General Esdeath.
Esdeath thanks Olivier for her concern, though says she's got a good handle on Tatsumi. She notices Olivier's dress on the floor and asks her what happened. Olivier notices her dress has been knocked over and she stands it up. Production tells them it's time to get into drag and hit the main stage. Olivier looks in horror as a large section of sequins has been crushed.
Oh my god. Katsuki must have knocked over my dress when he confronted Tatsumi. Obviously it's not his fault, though my sequins have been crushed. I've got half a dress with crushed sequins and half a dress with regular sequins. I am looking at this dress and I realize I am totally fucked.
Katsuki realizes what has happened and he apologizes profusely, beginning to panic. He says he's happy to help Olivier in any way he can. Esdeath rubs her temples and says, this can't be happening for a fourth week in a row right before the runway. Esdeath is about to offer to help when Mewtwo starts crushing sequins using their psychic powers.
What the hell is Mewtwo doing to Olivier's dress?
Olivier looks at Mewtwo and is about to protest and Mewtwo snaps their head toward her. Mewtwo says there is no time to argue, the only way to save the dress is to have all the sequins shattered on her dress, giving her a sharp look on the runway that will reflect the light well.
I'm confused. Why is Mewtwo helping Olivier?
Mewtwo halts crushing sequins and asks if Olivier wants them to stop. Olivier is clearly frustrated. She appears torn, though agrees this is the only way to save her dress. She waves her hand and asks Mewtwo to continue. Mewtwo finishes and the dress has a stunning shimmering quality. Olivier takes a breath and asks why Mewtwo is helping her today. Mewtwo says they want to win this category fair and square, not because extenuating circumstances took Olivier out of the challenge.
Mother plays fair. Now, if Olivier wins, it will be because she was the best queen of the day.
I'm feeling a mixture of anger, guilt, and relief. I'm annoyed that they're helping me, considering what happened at the Miss Anime contest. It feels like Mewtwo is trying to make a point about the importance of being a good sister. That said, Mewtwo could have easily looked the other way, and I'd likely be in the bottom, so I'll give them that. I hate accepting their help, but I don't have time to crush these sequins by hand. All I can do now is slay this runway and thank them in Untucked.
Welcome to the main stage of Daijin's Drag Race.
Say that again.
You heard me. I'm your host, Daijin the Cat, and this is my co-host, Koopa the Turtle. Koopa, are you ready to see our sickening queens battle to show who wore it better?
Gosh, I'm so excited. Daijin, thank you for having me as your co-host on Daijin's Drag Race.
Meow, the pleasure is mine. Now, our extra special guest judges today, all the way from Domino City, he's Yami Yugi. Yugi, if you had to lip sync for your life, what song would you choose?
I would choose.
I'm sorry, my dear. Sashay away. Ash, what would you choose?
Savage. I would choose this game from No Game, No Life.
That's a fierce song to lip sync too. I was expecting Gotta Catch 'Em All, which would have been boring and predictable. Koopa, have you recovered from your lip sync to Moonlight Densetsu?
I'll be suing for emotional damages at the end of the series. Yugi, Ash, you'll hear from my lawyers.
Oh my god, Ash, we need to be more selective about these guest judges.
Yugi, be honest, you're kind of living for my shade.
Okay, fine, maybe a little.
Now it's time for my top 10 queens to stomp the runway. Good luck, queens, and don't fuck it up.
Category is Millennium Masquerade. First to the stage, Mewtwo vs Katsuki.
I'm sauntering down this runway in an ethereal, sculptured gown that embodies the ancient mysticism of the Millennium items. The form-fitting bodice is crafted from shimmering gold fabric, embossed with intricate hieroglyphs that seem to glow with an inner light. As I move, I point to where I will walk next and flash my Millennium ring. I can see the judges are enraptured.
I've stepped onto the runway in a shimmering gold bodysuit, and I'm attempting to capture the ancient mystery of the Millennium items. The metallic fabric looks stunning, though I can tell it clings a little too tightly in some places and wrinkles awkwardly in others. The bodice features embossed hieroglyphs that shimmer as I strut the runway.
Great work, queens. Daijin, Ash, and Koopa, who do you think wore it better? It's unanimous. Congratulations, Mewtwo. You wore it better. You're safe. I'm sorry, Yuri, you're still up for elimination. The second pair is Kei vs Yurio.
I've gone bold tonight, trading my usual sleek aesthetic for something more extravagant, a high-fashion sorcerer's gown that attempts to capture the full power of the Millennium items. I wear the Millennium necklace as my arcane focus, and as I cast my spell, the necklace glows bright and the judges can feel my raw power.
I glide onto the runway, draped in an avant-garde, otherworldly creation that feels less like an outfit and more like a celestial event. The gown is divine, a breathtaking mix of molten gold and midnight black, cascading over my frame in sculpted waves. I glide down the runway and, unlike Kay, I have no problem strutting in my gown.
Great work, queens. Daijin, Ash, and Koopa, who do you think wore it better? Congratulations, Yurio. You wore it better. You're safe. I'm sorry, Kay, you're still up for elimination.
You win some, you lose some. I'm proud of the outfit I presented. I've noticed a change in mindset this week, and even if I have to lip sync, I'm ready to give it my all.
The third pair is Esdeath and Tatsumi.
As I enter the room, the very air around me crackles with chilling authority. I'm wearing an opulent, liquid gold and frost-white silk gown, designed to command absolute submission. At the center of my chest, embedded like a cursed jewel, sits the Millennium Eye. The cursed jewel puts the judges under my control, and they're enjoying it.
I step onto the runway with the weight of destiny on my shoulders, my presence charged with raw energy and determination. The Millennium Eye is embedded into my right eye, and it glows ominously, casting a flicker of ancient power over my entire look. I wear a sleek, form-fitting bodysuit of matte black and gleaming gold, a striking combination that mirrors the duality of my character. Brutal yet noble, conflicted yet driven. I look absolutely sickening, and I just know the judges will say I wore it better.
Great work, queens. This is a tough one. Daijin, Ash, and Koopa, who do you think wore it better? Congratulations, Esdeath. 3 votes from 4 means you wore it better. You're safe. I'm sorry, Tatsumi, you're still up for elimination.
Fair enough, Esdeath's look was fierce. Daijin saw my vision. I know the judges thought my look was sickening, so I won't be in the bottom.
The fourth pair is Elle versus Junta.
My outfit is simple yet striking. A tailored black tunic with intricate gold embroidery at the cuffs and collar. The fit is sleek, allowing me the freedom to move with ease. A wide, gold belt wraps around my waist, cinching the tunic slightly to emphasize my strong form. The belt's design mirrors the twisted nature of the Millennium Rod, giving a subtle nod to the item's dark origins. Damn, even my narration sells the garment. Oh no, I sound like Tatsumi. Absolutely not.
I step onto the runway like a shadow come to life. The fabric shimmers like liquid metal, dark as the abyss, yet it holds an ethereal glow that seems to respond to my every movement, like the shimmering veil between worlds. The bodice of the gown is structured but minimalistic, designed with sharp angular lines that mirror the jagged, twisting shape of the Millennium Rod itself. The shoulders are slightly elevated, giving me the silhouette of a ruler or a sorcerer, imposing yet serene.
By Exodia, this was a fierce collection. Daijin, Ash, and Koopa, who do you think wore it better? A tie. Well, as the chief judge this week, I am the tie break. Elle, congratulations, you wore it better. Junta, you're up for elimination.
I can tell they loved my look. To have created something at a level close to Elle, who is a brilliant designer, feels great. I will need to take Daijin out for dinner, as he's had my back this entire competition. I'm already campaigning for Daijin for all stars.
Junta's runway was fierce. I'm glad. Design is my strength, so I am very proud of myself, especially after how things went last week.
Now for the final pair, Aomin versus Olivier.
My rich black velvet gown serves athletic elegance, combining my natural swagger with the mysticism of the Millennium Scales. The outfit balances sleek lines with bold details, making it a tribute to both my basketball prowess and the ancient, dangerous power I now command. I probably could have done more to incorporate the Millennium Scales, but I feel fierce in this outfit.
I stride onto the runway, every step exuding my unshakable strength and authority. My gown is a work of art, blending the commanding elegance of a general with the ancient power of the Millennium Scales. The crushed sequins make me shimmer as I stride the runway, and I can tell the judges know I'm in charge. The gown's design speaks of balance, of justice, of fate, and of the ironclad will that defines my character.
Great work, queens. Daijin, Ash, and Koopa, who do you think wore it better? It's unanimous. Congratulations Olivier, you wore it better. That means Min, you're still up for elimination. Queens, you can now return to the stage. Mewtwo, Uriel, Esdeath, Elle and Olivier. You are all safe. We thought each of you did a sickening job. Esdeath, you had us completely under your spell from the moment you stepped onto the runway. Elle, the technical construction of your gown was something else. Olivier, your dress was opulent, powerful and fierce and you served us Millennium justice. Olivier, congratulations, you're the winner of this week's challenge.
Oh my god. My legs almost gave way on stage. I wanted this so badly. Considering what happened right before the runway, I'm feeling relieved and elated. If you're watching this, Mewtwo, thank you for your help. I genuinely mean that.
Okay, so I wasn't in the top 3 this week, but it happens. It's true, I didn't want Olivier to win, but I can't deny the dress she created fit the category perfectly. And I feel better knowing she had a fair chance. In the words of global superstar Alyssa Edwards, winning isn't everything but wanting to is. And I'm hungry for a win next week.
You may step to the back of the stage. That means General Katsuki, Kei, Tatsumi, Junta and Min, I'm sorry my dears, you're up for elimination. Junta and Tatsumi, if we had space, you would be in the top.
Naturally, what can I say? Tatsumi always rises to the top.
You're both safe. You may join the other queens.
I have this horrible feeling in my gut that I'm lip-syncing for a second time. I really can't go home yet. I just can't.
General Katsuki, you fit the category perfectly but your gown was ill-fitted, which took us out of the drag illusion. Kei, your outfit had a great concept but was a little basic. Min, we don't know what happened, though your outfit was clearly the weakest of the night. Kei, Min, I'm sorry my dears, you're up for elimination. That means General Katsuki, you're safe.
That was a lucky escape. Judges, thank you for giving me another chance.
This is terrible. If I slay this lip sync, I get to stay but I lose my boyfriend. If I lose the lip sync, my dream of being anime's next superstar falls apart. Our only hope is to slay this lip sync and force the judges to keep us both.
Queens, this week you were asked to prepare a lip sync to Hikaru Nara, the official theme song to Your Lie in April.
What a song to lip sync to. This song sounds happy, though if you know the story behind the song, you know it's about 2 lovers where tragedy cuts their love story short. There is a sad irony to what we're about to watch.
Queens, good luck and, please, don't fuck it up.
The music starts and I feel paralyzed. I'm thinking about Kei and blaming myself for the situation he's in. I was on cloud 9 spending time with him but it distracted us both from the challenge. I can't go home but I can't let him go home. I'm feeling this competition crashing down around me and my dream slipping through my fingers.
The lip sync begins and Kei hits every word. His movements are clear but sensitive, conveying the underlying heartbreak of the song. Min wills himself to move, though stays motionless on stage. He appears to be in a state of paralysis. Olivier shouts at Min from the back of the stage to get moving. Min looks sadly at Kei and bows his head, remaining fixed in place. Yugi looks away with tears in his eyes. Ash puts his head in his hands.
What is Min doing? I'm shouting at him because he's just standing there. All the safe queens are willing him to move. It's hard to watch because it's like he's given up.
Kei stops lip syncing mid-lip sync when he notices Min motionless. He goes over to Min and asks if he is okay. Min looks at him with wide eyes but is unable to speak. Kei's eyes well up and he squeezes Min on the shoulder and says it's going to be okay and that he should start lip syncing so they can give these queens a show. Min remains motionless and hangs his head. Ash stops the lip sync. Ash takes a few deep breaths and looks up at Min.
Min, we noticed you haven't started lip syncing. What's going on?
Min takes a moment, unable to get the words out. Yugi looks up at the ceiling, clearly holding back tears.
Judges. I am so, sorry. I hope my inaction is not taken as disrespect. When the music started, I couldn't move. I was looking over at Kei and we've grown so close in this competition. I can't be the one to send him home.
Kei gives him a squeeze on the shoulder and says it's okay for Min to fight to stay in the competition. Min smiles at him, sadly and looks back at the judges. Ash takes a few more breaths.
Almin, that's admirable, though this is a competition. We need to see you fight for your place in this competition.
Almin looks down for a moment.
I'm so sorry, judges, I just can't.
Kay looks lost for words. He is clearly holding back tears, though gives Almin a hug. Olivier and General Katsuki look shocked, while Esdeath shakes her head. Both Ash and Yugi seem speechless.
Almin, are you sure?
Almin shakes his head and says yes. Ash looks up again at the ceiling and takes a moment.
Well, I suppose we have to respect your decision. Oh god, this one is going to hurt the most. Yugi, do you want to say it?
Ash, I don't think I can.
Understandable. Give me a moment, oh gosh. Kay, Shantae, you stay. You may join the other queens.
Kay gives Almin a hug and tells him that he's absolutely sickening. Almin thanks him and says that Kay needs to slay the competition. Almin begins to sob and Kay pulls him into a hug. Kay holds back tears and tells Almin to be proud of what he's shown this competition. Almin thanks him and says that the biggest gift of the competition was Kay. Almin says Kay is a wonderful boyfriend and he's excited to live together down the track post-competition. Kay smiles at him and the two embrace once more. Kay joins the other queens.
Almin, gosh, you're leaving this competition far too soon. Gone but never forgotten. For what it's worth, we think you're a slam dunk. We've loved having you here. We'll save you a spot on All Stars. Now, sashay away.
Almin walks to the back of the stage. Almin looks sadly toward Kay and then to the other queens.
Looks like the real game starts now, and y'all just lost your MVP. Good luck, queens, see you on the other side.
Queens, this just shows how quickly the game can change. Now, get some rest. The queens enter untucked and the mood is somber. Kay looks close to tears. Olivier comes over to him and asks if he is okay. He shakes his head and says he will be. Kay says he needs a good night's sleep and that will help. Olivier nods and says if he needs anything, just to let her know. Kay thanks her. He congratulates her on her win and she humbly accepts his praise. She looks over at Mewtwo and thanks them for helping her. They comment that sometimes being a good sister is more important than winning the challenge. This seems to annoy Olivier, though she says nothing. Tatsumi, sensing the tension, goes to say something though Yurio shakes his head. A silence falls over the group for the remainder of Untucked.